Right, so we finished cutting in our wall, now we're ready to roll out. So for this wall we're going to use a medium pile roller. This is perfect for doing on internal walls. What we're looking at for if you're doing a short pile roller, that will be more for oil-based paints, and a long pile roller will be for more external work on brickwork or block work. So what we need to do, we need to charge up the roller sleeve. So we have a roller tray here ready with paint. So what we're going to do, you don't just get the roller and dunk it straight into the paint, because what you'll have is then you'll have a build up of paint on either side. So what you're looking at doing, use the rough part of the roller tray, take it towards the paint, just bring it back up, and just keep on doing that just to charge up and load up the roller sleeve. And what you'll notice is, when it's all loaded up, you can then use the rough part of the roller tray to even out all of the paint on there before you've got application. And then hopefully then you won't have a build up of paint on either the outside or inside of the roller. If you've got anything on there and when you apply it to the wall, you'll get something which we call tram lines. That'll be a defect that you'd have to remove if you don't do that while the paint is wet. Create more trouble for you, make it so you've got much more work to do. Now we're loaded up, we're ready to paint on the wall. So when you're applying the paint with your roller, you don't want to start right next to the edge of your wall. You want to start a little bit further across, the same as we did with the cutting in, and that way then you can take your excess paint to the area that you're going to be finishing off. So when you're applying, go from the top, a little bit like a V shape, apply the paint down the wall, come back up, and then you can take it across to the area that you're going in. You only need to just about touch the edge of where you cut in, and keep on spreading out your paint. And you keep on working over it. Because this is quite a vivid colour, it takes a little more work, and if you need to, you can change the shape of the roller, go into the corner a little bit more. You just keep on working the paint. As I say, because it's quite a vivid colour, you're probably going to need at least 2, maybe 3 coats on this. You see that's not going to go too far, so now to reload. Now this time I can bring it back the other way. Always work back, because you can feather out all your excess paint. When you're doing, maybe with this colour paint for the second or even third coat, you have to remember that you have to do your cutting in every time. So if you don't do that, you'll get an extra build up of paint in all the areas that you've rolled out, but you won't have on the edges where you've done your cutting in, and that will produce something which we call framing. So it will basically look like a picture frame. You'll see an edge there where it will look completely different. You don't want to have that. As you can see now that the first coat of paint has dried on the wall, we've got a defect showing that shows why we need to put at least 2, maybe even 3 coats on here to make sure we get good coverage. You can see here we've got the grinning defect. This is where you need to make sure that when you're recutting in, you're covering all of these bits before you do your rolling. You cannot get away with just doing another roller coat, because you'll still see these defects.